What are we at on time? We're almost at 3 hours, huh? I don't think we're going to be able to finish 3-3 today. Because it's probably... I'm pretty sure that they've been following the same formula, like, in Justice for All and now also in Trials and Tribulations, where, like, it's like investigate, trial, investigate, and then it's like 2 trials back-to-back. I don't think we have time to get through 2 sections of trials, but we can at least get through 1. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Why are you still wearing the maid outfit? Good morning, Maggie. So what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true, and we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. You okay? Hey, pal! Yo, Gumshoe! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How'd you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. Oh, we found this in Armstrong's pack of aromatherapy, and he was gonna, like, go through forensics for us with it. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trebien's kitchen a couple of days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Ah, the aromatherapy oils, yada yada. Wait a minute, there's one bottle that's different from the others. What do you know? It doesn't have a label. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. It's the ear medication that they stole from him. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears, you mean? Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What's-his-face stole it. He loves stealing stuff. Unidentified fingerprints. It's what's-his-face's fingerprints. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but that's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Today's trial, I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. Well, I guess if you don't expose him, then he gets to be Phoenix Wright. Phoenix hasn't learned his lesson after showing the bad guy evidence 3 times in the first game. Yeah, he's gotta stop showing the villains the evidence, for sure. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good, then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. Mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand, but according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account... Oh, the thing about the right and the left must be that he, had 2 different cups of coffee. Right? Maybe? It's gotta be that, like, Maggie brought him a thing of coffee, but then, what's-her-face brought him another one of coffee that killed him? The victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece on his left ear, yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? I got this. Don't worry. I got this. Ha! Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. The world does keep turning. He's kind of real for that one. He's kind of right on that. You've lost me already, Mr. Goodell. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You gotta change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? That old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here, he was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well, let the first witness take the stand. And you are? Bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef of La Tresbienne. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh, monsieur, as you can see, I'm a dude. On the day of the incident, you were in Trebien's kitchen. Isn't that right? Oui, monsieur. Everything feels right. Please throw your coffee at him. Ha! Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Très Bien. French. When it all happened, there was just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decoration that day? Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. All right, I'm done reading in French. I can't take it anymore. We're like 3 hours into stream. I can't do this anymore. Perhaps that's what the old man was looking at. Cup, earpiece, glasses, he would have seen everything in reverse, no? A mirror? Oui, grand mirror, the most enormous mirror. And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, this is weird. Is there a... We have a picture of the crime scene. Is there a mirror? I don't see a mirror that would do what you're saying it's doing. Hold it! Hold it! Who were the 2 customers exactly? The young man who died and the other not-so-young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume? What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? Guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. You're experimenting with art decoration? How come I never heard about that before today? You're not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. Ahem, excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned? Are you referring to some kind of decature? No, Art Deco, it's a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Ah, yes, of course, that deco. I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of the decor. Like having a large mirror, yada yada. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Something about 4 meters wide and about 2 meters high. Let's see, if 1 meter is about 1 yard, holy glass in a frame, that's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. What? The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. No, but I decided to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask more about the mirror or not? Yeah, press harder, why not? It's never failed me before. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But you didn't ask, trite. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Très Bien the day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes, and as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Très Bien, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. Ha! If you want to doubt someone trite, look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. Perhaps that's what the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, trite, even for you. I double tapped X. Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, oh, he is really cool. That's a good point. Ah, not the hair. I don't have a top knot. Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Logic has won today. Everything? He would have seen everything in reverse? Hey, Nick, we should take a second think about what old CD said in his testimony. How'd he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. If you saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said was on the left was actually on the right, huh? That clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Ha! It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's got to be something in that old man's testimony. We just got to dig deeper. Okay. Huh. I still have the lunchbox. Oh, is this, am I gonna give Maggie the lunchbox after the case is over to like, you know, sometimes after the case is over, the person is like, please, tell me the, whatchamacallit, tell me the truth, or whatever. What does this mean, Phoenix? And then we're gonna like show Gumshoe's lunchbox, probably. Huh. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Am I supposed to, like, present here that there is no... Like, I don't see it. Well, no, the mirror would be on the other side of this partition, wouldn't it? So I guess I wouldn't see it yet. But he only had a mirror there at that partition and nowhere else? That doesn't sound right. What do they normally give you an idea of, like, what to do when you do the last one. How did he phrase it again? Boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. Then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. Saw everything he described reflected in a mirror. Everything he said was on the left was actually on the right. That clears up all the problems with his testimony, or does it? It's kind of hard to believe everything is the fault of a mirror, but do you think old C saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. That just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's got to be something in that old man's testimony. We got to dig deeper. I have no idea. Who were the two customers? Yada yada. Young guy and old guy. I'm not gonna mention Don Tigre being there. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, Deco. Yada yada. No. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Something about 4 meters, 2 meters high. Just need to install it. Ceiling. Decided not to go through with it. What if I leave it instead of press harder? Couldn't lie about such a huge object. Must have been there in the restaurant somewhere. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in the mirror. I'm not super confident in this, but I'm gonna present this, because I don't see how it could be there. Objection! Music didn't stop, I'm wrong. That statement contradicts this evidence. It does. I don't see anything contradictory. Denied. Yada yada. Okay, yeah. Big of a mirror. Oh, this is the same one I just looked at. Press harder. Really had such a large mirror, someone would have noticed. Yada yada. Objection! Didn't ask. Sloppy work. Yada yada. Even if a mirror was delivered, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant. It doesn't prove it was at the restaurant. Red text comes up here, so I think the contradiction has to be here. But I don't see how. Yeah, because it's not this. Bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. I have no idea. I'm lost already, which is not a good sign at the start of this case. Or at the start of this trial day, I mean. I wonder if I'm supposed to show, like, the floor plans? Because how would he have been seeing it through a mirror? He would have been looking directly at the dude, and then the mirror would have been, like, behind or to the side of him. He wouldn't have been looking through a mirror. That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to get stuck on this early. Chat, someone give me a hint. What the heck am I missing here? I have no idea what they want from me here. This is weird. The last statement is what's wrong. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses, he would have seen everything in reverse. I don't understand what this means. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses? Am I supposed to show the cup? Or am I supposed to show, like, his... Oh, they, like, switched Tigre and Bruno Cadavereni. Weird. Am I supposed to show him? Or an HMD over his left eye, left eardrum was ruptured, yada yada. Well, he would have seen it all in reverse, yeah. I have no idea. It's a press further moment? Why, I just press L1 again? Would have seen everything in reverse? Hey Nick, we should take a second, think about what old CD said in his testimony. How'd he phrase it? Or is wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you let me if I'm wrong, it was his left ear without a doubt. Then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. So everything he described reflected in a mirror, everything he said was on the left would actually be on the right. That clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess, or does it? Ha, kinda hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony, but that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. This makes no sense to me. What do you mean if he saw it all through a reflection? He didn't see the dude, but he saw the dude in a mirror and looked through... What? What? This doesn't make any sense to me. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony we gotta dig deeper. Okay, pressing further didn't do anything, chat. Someone just tell me the answer. I don't understand. This whole mirror thing makes no sense to me. It just sounds like nonsense. Present Glenn? How does this make sense? Coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? Boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question, you locked me up, it was his left ear. So to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now Mr. Kudo saw that as a reflection in a mirror. It means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactly, you seem unsure. Now that you think about it, it's not so hard. Fortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. I have no idea what this is. Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror. Why is it the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? What? Order, Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye.
Objection.
How bitter. Trite, you should have tasted this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks? How he thinks. You remember this, I presume? The I broke the vase, sorry apology, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony. Exactly, the old man has a very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point, the old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear his left ear? Ha! Well, Trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was old seedy for a minute there. Godot's good. Enough, I must agree that yesterday's witness is irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. What? A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court we're all ears. I have no idea what just happened. Like, maybe I'm just really missing something, or I don't understand something about mirrors, but I have no idea what that entire testimony was about, or how we got to a contradiction, or what Godot's rebuttal even means. I have no clue. You may as well strike the past 10 minutes of the stream from the record, because I got nothing from it. I can explain if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Oh, we're still going with the mirror. Oh, great. Am I crazy, or does this seem completely disconnected from everything else about the case by far? This is so random and out of nowhere, and it makes no sense to me. Is everyone sitting comfortably? The mirror was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. That's where the mirror was? There's only one seat from which you could have seen the image of the victim. That seat was the table next to the victims. That's where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. So you interfered with a criminal, like a scene, like a crime scene, which means you should be in prison. But naturally, I didn't touch anything else. I see no problems with the explanations we have just heard. I do. It's asinine. The problem with it is that it's asinine. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty person I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. Ah, I hate that guy. Say you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Of course. Nah, he's lying. He touched something. That's an obvious lie. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. Mirror was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. The only seat you could have seen the image from the victims. He was at the table next to the victims. That's where the old man was sitting. After a terrible incident occurred, I moved it. I didn't touch anything else. Okay. I just wanted to go back over that because the start of this didn't look the same. So run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? We? Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way. Look who's talking, Trite. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But this is my seat in the courtroom. Trebian's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, monsieur, the mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. Liar. And where would that be? Look at how you lean towards me. I'm always attracted to younger boys. I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Someone please kill this dude. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know. Shall I die in a fire. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time. Bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Yes, he's talking about his coffee. I will tell you, there was only one seat from which you could have seen. Table next to the victims. So I can only see the victim from that particular seat? Monsieur, it's obvious. If you look at the plans, you'll understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would have seen everything. None. So that's the seat old seat he was sitting in on that day, when that poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? After a terrible incident, I moved the mirror. It was not in the way. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui. Exactly. I carried it out in the restaurant. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself? What can I say? I know how to pick things up. Godot actually laughed at something. I don't know why. Given the witness's physique, I suppose it's possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I look like the obliging type. Naturally, I did not touch anything else. You sure about that? I touched nothing except the mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Suffering from a case of heartburn, Trite? Oh, I have just the thing for that, an oil with golden myrrh and frankincense. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. Focus, Phoenix, breathe. I need to ignore those two and figure out some evidence. It's pretty strange, though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Seedy. Then the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Trebian that day. Yeah, this is a load of nonsense. And I just gotta prove it somehow. How am I gonna prove that? Maybe now I'm supposed to present the crime photo. Well, I guess you can't really see the mirror from this angle, can you? Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything here. The fact that he says that he didn't touch anything else seems like a lie to me. Actually, isn't this a lie right here? Because he did touch this. Didn't he say that he replaced the vase after it was broken? Is presenting this going to prove that, though? What's-his-face broke the vase, and then you replaced the vase, which means that you touched it. Let's go. Your Honor, Mr. Kudo's words yesterday strongly contradict Mr. Armstrong's testimony. This is the letter of apology that was written by Mr. Kudo, is it not? Realize it looks useless, Your Honor, but this is still testimony. Ha, I guess useless people are only really good at identifying useless things. What relevance does this scrap of paper have to the trial, Mr. Wright? Mr. Kudo's testimony is actually very relevant to the question at hand, Your Honor. Didn't we prove that his testimony was worthless? Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. What? This is not what I expected to happen. Gumshoe's lunchbox! Just look at all of these weenies, Your Honor. Matches, $1 million bill for cranial surgery, the lunchbox, millionaire radio flyer, the virus, the fake badge, his calendar, his prescription bag. I have no idea. By Maggie, winning lottery ticket for $1 million, yada yada, coffee contained potassium cyanide, the crime photo. Oh, this crime photo shows the... It's the crime photo. It shows the unbroken vase. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we've heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is this something that should not exist in the photo? This vase should be broken. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was sitting on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all! Objection! Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Très Bien that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Perjury. Alright, I move that he be executed. Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. He said he didn't do that, though. Unfortunately, Mr. Go, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary, in his own words. I did not touch anything else, except the mirror. Ugh. Ah! Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Sniff. I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. All right, this whole mirror thing is super weird. I don't even know why we went through this. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? Ah, you only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? Can we not just say that the old man is a liar? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Well, we gotta wait for Persona 4 Revival to come out to reach out to the truth, but we can try. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? No. There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Do you? Because I don't. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The ear doctor made a mistake? Mr. Kudo made a mistake? The victim was a phony? I'm gonna save real quick. The ear doctor made a mistake makes no sense. That's irrelevant. Mr. Kudo made a bunch of mistakes, like existing. What does the victim was a phony mean? I don't even know what this means. But this whole case has been a big deal about phony Phoenix. So I want to click it. And then if we're wrong, we'll reload. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what's that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Egg at all. Glenn Elg, whatever. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. What? Obviously, unlike the victim, there is nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I think I understand. I think I get it. Because Kudo never saw Tiger. So what happened? Order in the court, settle down or clear the courtroom. So I think what happened was that Maggie took the coffee to Glenn Elg. Then What's-his-face showed up. Don Tiger. He killed him. Wait, no. Tiger showed up because we saw at the beginning of this case, right? We saw an image of Tiger putting the cyanide in What's-his-face's cup. So what happened is that Maggie brought the cup, then Tiger put poison in it. That killed Glenn Elg. Maggie fell unconscious. Then Tiger pretended to be Glenn Elg. Kudo showed up. Then Viola pretended to be Maggie, and she pretended to poison Glenn Elg, which was actually Tiger. And then Tiger faked dying. Armstrong got Kudo out of the room. Then they set up the original Glenn Elg's body and put an unconscious Maggie back to frame her? That's insane if true. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. That is insane. Objection. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was the serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. Yeah, and he is in debt to the people who did it, and so that screwed him over. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, You would have known about it, correct? You are so going to prison, bro. This is it for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You're under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribienne that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. We. In the restaurant. The victim, Elg, came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mr. Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. There was no time for a phony to do any acting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. My pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. Okay, he literally lied in his testimony. He committed perjury. He can no longer be trusted. Get him out of here. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I'll decide how to punish you later. Kill him. Death penalty. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. You took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing, well, yeah, perjury literally does nothing in this universe. Phoenix, no one has ever actually been punished for perjury. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. In the restaurant. Hold it! Was he alone at his table as well? Yes, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified the victim was alone. I thought that we already confirmed that this dude's testimony means nothing. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. No, it doesn't. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. Drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, Monsieur. You're most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How many minutes? You're saying that not much time elapsed between when the victim and Mr. Kudo arrived? Oui, that is correct. But that still leaves the possibility that something happened in that gap of time. And by your recollection, how much time would you say elapsed? Let me see. 2 minutes, I would say. 2 minutes, that's all? Seems unlikely that anything untoward could have happened in such a short time. Rats, I knew I shouldn't have pursued this line of questioning. Whoops. There were no other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim? Objection, I must drink my coffee. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Trite? As much as I want to, honestly. You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind bird seed to make coffee, if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. Bum, 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 bum. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, yes, $500,000. Presumably the defendant heard that too then, correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. What about Mr. Kudo? Old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. Seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. Approximately 5 minutes later, the poisoning happened. What were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I'm a multi-talented woman. Sorry, what do you mean? There's a renowned chef, John Armstrong, and the tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Oh my goodness, you have multiple personality disorder, of course. Clarice! I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef, $500,000 in debt, cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It's called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for the court. Please don't. Okay. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone. By your own argument, Trite. The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Yes, it seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted. Guess Mr. Armstrong's connected to the case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. Alright, which one of these was the one where I had multiple options? You mean Victor Kodo, yada yada, drink your special, yada yada, worth a sip, nothing more. Arrived at the same time, yeah, this is the one. I said how many minutes? What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? No, I cannot remember. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. Crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? Incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived, so the victim must have arrived between 2 and 2:10. Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You're wonderful. Aha! Can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? Time of day will be added to the testimony. Everything I do it for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Haha. Glad at least one person is in a good mood here. The judge, man. He's even humming a song to himself. The judge is he's just having a good time. Good for him. Old man arrived not long after him, just after 2. Okay. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2, yes. It's the time I stopped serving the lunch menu. Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. That's not good, bro. Guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his meal. Okay. Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Uh-oh. Witness, get on with your testimony, please. Yeah, keep going. There were no other customers. Okay. Came to the restaurant alone. Arrived not long after him, just after 2. There were no other customers, yada yada. 5 minutes after the poison occurred. Very excited. No other customers. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I'm looking for in a contradiction here. It's ear medicine. Matches used for advertising. The Viola's medical papers and stuff, that's not going to come up until later because we're probably going to get Don Tiger on the stand or something. This appears the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. At 1:30 p.m.? At 1:30 p.m. At 1:30 p.m.? This can't be right then. Not long after him, just after 2 p.m. When he got word, he became very excited. 5 minutes later, he was poisoned. But no, because if they say who wins at 1:30 p.m., then it couldn't have been after 2 o'clock. There we go. All right, that was easier to figure out than I thought. As soon as I saw one of the things said 1:30 p.m., I was like, why does this say 1:30 p.m. when we were talking so specifically about 2 p.m.? I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. That must be the show Elg was listening to. Can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Yes, I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was at that time because I'd just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, trite, if you have one. That show was broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point! No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glenn Elgs in Trebienne that day. The real Glenn Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. and the phony Glenn Elg, acting out of the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy?
Objection.
Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this, Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glenn Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glenn Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Objection.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Uh-oh. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours? Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glenn Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? No! I mean, probably in the kitchen. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to the examination of the court, you must provide us with some proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? What evidence could prove this? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into the corner instead. Into a corner, even. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed? I have to say if it's outside or inside? I mean, like, he would have just put him in the kitchen, right? He couldn't put him outside. Someone might find the body. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Très Bien. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. It's gotta just be in the kitchen, right? Like, he couldn't have hid it in one of the things. It'd be too easy to spot. There's, like, nowhere to hide it here. It's gotta just be in the kitchen. Take that. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition, but the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves that the body was hidden that location? Is it literally just that his ear medicine was in there? I think it might just be that his ear medicine was in there. None of this, none of this. This is only worth 2 HP. I'm pretty sure it's just his ear medicine being in there. The music stopped. Oh, the music didn't stop at first, and I was about to be like, no, no! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No, 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 no. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest of quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Très Bien. Huh? But I only ever use the bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Strong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited a clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The music that plays when the ear medicine proves that Godot is a buffoon. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glenn Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird, however. You were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No! Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg? Never! I could not do such a horrible thing. No! What the heck is happening to Godot? Is he exploding? Oh, okay. Mr. Godot! The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? Are we at 17 yet? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? The French? Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap, listen to me. Por favor, isn't that Spanish? Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor, Spanish. Yeah, okay. I looked away from the screen for a second. I was like, por favor, that's not French. And I looked back and the judge was saying it. I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you do it? No, absolutely not. Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel. Yeah, and the Glock in my pocket. I will shoot you. It is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I got a bad feeling about this. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. The confession. It is true, I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I didn't kill him, I swear it. You must believe me. Okay. You were forced by who? I cannot say or I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. L died, was he really the only person at this table? At his table? There was. Aha! There was another man. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Okay. I hid the body in the kitchen. Did you carry the body by yourself? I carried him, and I carried Maggie too. Maggie too? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there, but why did you hide the bodies? A man forced me to, I had no choice. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say, I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right, if you won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him, there's a reason why I could not refuse. Wait, does it want me on that previous statement? Does it want me to like, present evidence, to present, Don Tiger? To be like, this is him? What reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yeah. Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. Can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason, so I'll just have to prove it with evidence. Okay, so I have to prove it there. Okay. I did not kill him. I didn't. You must believe me. So you're claiming that all you did was hide bodies. Is that correct? That's right. If we're to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this. He's already confessed this much. We might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Wait, so am I supposed to... I might have to do both, but the game might want me to do them in a specific order, so I'm going to save in case. Alright, the reason that he could not refuse is because he's in debt. Obviously. Where's the thing about him being in debt? Yeah, $500,000 in debt. You have $500,000 debt, don't you? $500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong? French. I was weak and I borrowed money. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man. Okay, this is to show Tiger, yeah. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. It is as you say. Mr. Armstrong. The Tiger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting a victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the unconscious Maggie out of the unconscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I'd seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison in the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket, was that your doing as well? No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Goodell, you'll summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand, not a minute more. How the? Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chief is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well, your request. I pressed X too fast. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. To be continued. What are we at? We're at 3 hours and 45 minutes. I think I gotta wrap up here. Oh, this is probably the last trial day. I don't think I have time to do it though. It would have to take like 30 minutes or less for me to have enough time, and it'll probably take like 50 minutes or something. Cause that one take 50 minutes, or that one take like 40 minutes. Whatever. I think it'll probably take too long, to be honest. So we'll have to pick it up later. Unfortunately. But anyways, that is going to be all for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully we'll be able to finish 3-3 next time and get into 3-4 and make some good headway on that. So looking forward to it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Check out the links in the description, and I'll see you next time for more Ace Attorney. Until then, farewell.